amazing that people can do such unbelievable work by just their hands and using a machine? I think it is. So that video is just for today's topic. So welcome to the channel Your Own Stylist, and the topic for today's video is sustainable fashion. These words are very impactful, but we have very less knowledge about it. So to give you a little knowledge about this topic, that I would say that sustainable fashion is a process or a movement that can bring fostering changes in the fashion system and fashion products. And how can you build up a sustainable wardrobe? So first of all, I would say sustainable clothes that are made by natural fibers, natural dyes, and eco-friendly, which means we are saving the environment, and that's really good. So how can we maintain a sustainable wardrobe is to buy clothes which have a very good quality, and their lifespan can be good. So you can get a lot of use by that clothes, and if it get torn, and you can bring out and reuse it with something different, and whatever you like. So we have many brands that are acknowledging the topic. So I would say Nicobar is there, Chola the Label, Anita Dongre, Grassroots, Go Nasties, Doodle Age, many others. Top 10 fashion brands that goes with sustainable fashion, I have been linked in the description below. You can go and check it. So the main topic is, I was finding a business right here where I live, Jabalpur. So I got a manufacturer that goes from the raw material to till the parcel sent to you. That is a Saffron Saga. I had a collab with them, and right now you will see a video with them that I have recorded and interviewed them for all the work they have been doing for the past 6 years. It's amazing. So let's not waste the time and get into the video. Okay, hello ma'am. Welcome to the channel Your Own Stylist.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, hello everyone.
So we are at the location, the Saffron Saga. So let's start with ma'am. And okay, let's start.
Okay.
Okay, so what was your idea from giving this startup, this new entrepreneurship business?
Anushka, this is almost now 6 years that we started this work, and uh, it's all something which has arisen from our passion. I am an absolute passionate handloom lover, and so is my partner Ranjana. We both are uh, real chronic handloom lovers, and I have I'm born and brought up in a family where I've just seen handlooms right from the start. So it was basically our love for handlooms that made us start this. Having said that, when we started this venture, it was primarily not with the aim of forging ahead with a very with a totally commercial thing. It was our passion, and also with the intention of helping a friend who was very needy. So she was very young and she lost her husband at a very young age. So we thought, let us help her and do something and make her stand on her feet. So we just came together, the three of us, that we'll do this, and then the moment she's okay, we will kind of back out. You know. So initially, we were not just doing hand looms; we were doing power looms also, and we were doing some mixed stuff also, because we wanted to sell and help her out. But eventually, we realized that one, it is a business which takes time. We don't start getting income right from day one, and secondly, our heart was not there in mixed and power looms and synthetics and all that. So we then gradually we diverted, and of course the lady because of whom we started, she also could not continue because of her obvious reasons. She needed income immediately, which was not happening. So then we continued, but then we totally diverted our focus on handlooms and sustainable clothing.
So the next question that I will say, if someone is starting the sustainable fashion right now, so how will they maintain the sustainable wardrobe?
See, especially for your kind of your age group and for the youngsters who are shifting to sustainable fashion. See, sustainability, as I said in the beginning, also it's about reducing, reusing, and recycling. It's a very important thing. So, one thing is that we have to shed that factor of feeling ashamed of borrowing clothes and wearing. It's very, very
ethical, very a smart move also. If say for instance I have a kurta, you have a top, and somebody else has a kaftan, let's interchange and wear with a different look. So in a way, you are not adding up. Plus, your affordability factor is also is taken care of. So that is one part. Second is recycling and upcycling, which is very, very, it's a very smart thing which is coming up, where you can, if you're bored of wearing a particular kurta or a sari, or, say for instance, just upcycle it, or if you feel that there's a little blotch in it, or if it is torn from somewhere, change it into a dupatta, change it into a jacket, get it stitched into a kurta, etc. So, upcycle and recycling. There's a lot of lovely patchwork clothing which is there. So, recycle, upcycle, and then you're ultimately reducing the burden on the environment. And then you can, this is one part which helps you in, building up your wardrobe. It will not pinch your pocket also, but at the same time, you can keep on building. So, that is one part. And borrow clothes from each other. We should not feel ashamed. I've seen a lot of people working in this field now of borrowing wardrobes. So that is one part.
Start, so like what will you give the advice to a young generation, like the viewers of our channel?
See, what I want to tell the youngsters is that the youngsters are too much into fast fashion, and fast fashion is gradually killing the environment. Why I would say is that polyesters basically, I understand the price factor is a major factor which, defines their choice. But at the same time, the youngsters should get awakened to the fact that fast fashion is ultimately going to damage us in a lot of ways. Being produced from power looms, the factories where these emissions are there which are damaging the environment, these discarded clothes going into landfills which are not biodegradable, etc. So that is one part which is going to damage our environment, and we are going to leave a very bad place to live to the coming generations. Secondly, also we need to see that how we contribute to a big industry of handlooms where these artisans are so talented and working so hard. They're dwindling. This industry is dying down. So it all starts from there. Once you become conscious of the fact that and India is one of the largest producer of handlooms, and we should take pride in it. And definitely handlooms are very, very attractive, very beautiful, and very comfortable clothing. So it is, it satisfies or it fulfills many purposes. The suitability in terms of style, fashion, and comfort. Also, you're contributing to a cause of sustaining the livelihood of a certain segment of people, and third is you are protecting the environment. So it's a multifold benefit that you are giving to your universe or the environment if you are choosing or adopting sustainable clothing or handlooms, which is a part of it.
Okay, so we'll now get into manufacturing. So like, how did you find the artisans like to get stitching and all that? Where did you find them?
See, there are already existing lot of people who are into tailoring and all. But I tell you, our range of products is not just ready wears. We are into saris, and we are into dupattas, unstitched, pre-designed suits and all. So we work with artisans across the country. Like for instance, if I talk about Bagru block printing, if I talk about batik, I won't get people to do it here. It is from generations they're doing it, and they are the trained people. So we work with them. We give our own designs. We discuss designs with them. We discuss color palettes with them, and then we work with weavers. Now weaving, for instance, if you talk about linen, if you talk about a certain weave like kosa, if you talk about mulberry, there are clusters. There are places where these things are done. I can't get it done in my own unit. So what we do is we work in association with these weaving clusters or printing artisans and all, and then develop our designs and concepts with them, and that's how we do. As far as tailoring is concerned, yes, we picked up people from the local market and trained them also, and then gradually as we grew, they understood our taste, they understood the kind of quality we wanted, and then we progressed. So we're working with tailors, with artisans, with printers. We get the fabric woven in the looms through which with which we work. Then the fabric goes to the printer, the printing happens, it comes, then it is converted either into a kaftan or a nightie or a kurta or a dress, or if it goes for a pre-designed kurta dupatta set and stuff like that. So that's the chain how we work.
So like where do you find the raw material for this fabric?
As I told you, I partly covered it also. You see, raw material, as I told you, we work with weaving clusters, weaving weavers, you know. So what we do is we get our fabric woven, if it is a totally hand woven fabric. There are times when we go for certain fabrics which are not purely handloom also, like so, but then they go to printing artisans who print. So we procure fabric from all across the country, and like for instance, ikat comes from Andhra, that is a hand woven fabric. We coordinate with them and we get fabric from there. If I'm going for Bagu block printing or Sanganeri block printing, I send them my cotton fabric and they print it. Sometimes they have their own fabric. I give my designs and color patterns, so they send it. We have a huge range of pure hand woven, hand spun fabrics, which we work with a cluster of weavers who we have adopted. It is in Balaghat district. So we work with them and we can give them continuous work. तो हम अलग अलग तरह के fabrics we develop. You know, hand spun fabric, linen also we have developed. We have developed cotton silk wafta fabric with them. So we get fabrics from them also, and then the printing and designing stuff happens.
Like the ideas for different designs that you print on your clothes and all that.
See, I feel that one doesn't really need to be a trained fashion designer or a textile designer to do something. Yes, I wouldn't say it is definitely an added advantage. Today, I do feel the pinch that I am not technically trained, but I feel it is more about a passion, it is more about your taste, it is more about your creativity. And you know, having said that, I would really very humbly accept that I have this creative instinct in me. So, you know, sometimes I can visualize, I can imagine that, okay, this color palette, this will go well with this will go well with that. We trial and error also happens. Sometimes something is made and doesn't look good at all. So we make alterations in that. You imagine and then you create. That is how it happens. So that creativity angle part is there within us, and we try to actually bring it into realization through our designs. And yes, there are many inspirations also. If I would say that I don't look at anybody and I do it completely, no. We draw inspirations from some. Like if I like what you're wearing, I may not copy it because my conscience as a designer, or whatever you may say, as a connoisseur of a good clothing or a brand, I would not like to copy your design, but I would definitely like to improvise upon it and do something which is similar and which is very tasteful. So that is how it happens. It's one is your original creativity, imagination. Second is you draw inspiration also. So it's a combination of both which ultimately gives our designs.
So at last, we'd like to conclude. Like, how do you feel? Like, आपको कैसा लगता है कि पूरा business को establish होगा? We sit down with Jabalpur, like starting from here and spreading worldwide.
Anushka, see, I would say that abhi to we have a long way to go, but yes, the struggles that we've had, the challenges we've had have been very many. There have been huge financial crunches because there are not very many schemes, or there's nothing which you can really draw out. We've taken a small loan and we are working. So there's a huge amount of EMIs that we have to pay. So that burden, that pressure is certainly there. And we have not gone for crowdfunding, we've not gone for investors or something so far, because we feel that somewhere it mars your freedom of working if you get an angel investor. So we've not gone into that. But having said that, I feel that yes, it is a great amount of happiness that we get when we are known, we are selling internationally. We have a website, thesaffronsaga.com, and what I feel is that we are doing very well internationally. Indians staying abroad and foreigners, they buy our products a lot, so it feels good. But yes, still there is a long way to go, and we are looking forward to that.
Okay, so guys, please do visit the saffronsaga.com. The link will be described in the description box, and do visit the site. It has various lots of designs like saris, kurtas, non-stitch.
Nightwears we have done, which are doing very
Yes.
phenomenally
Then
well.
I saw that
Naftas
Ma'am has
and
done the
nighties,
photograph for
yes,
us. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And please do visit, guys. It's a really good site. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the video and you also got the idea that how fast fashion is degrading the environment, and also the Saffron Saga encourages us to adopt the sustainable fashion which is benefiting the environment and to ourselves too. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you like it, do comment and share. Okay, I hope you have a good day.